Namaste, everybody. Welcome to today's new video. It is about yoga, and I wanted to share this because we think that yoga can be done only once in a year to post on our Instagram and our Facebook. And why should we do it every day? Why should we make it a part of our lives and our thinking? So let's celebrate this and see why it can be done every day. So, what is yoga? Basically, yoga is trying to keep your mind and body in a balance because a lot of multiple external factors affect us from the screen, from the news, from our interpersonal relations, from our family, and also from our chitta, that is our soul. So, past karmic activities, the influences over our past lives that affect our chitta, and then the chitta influences us in our actions through our mind. So to explain that, there's a wonderful example that is always shown in the yogic treatises is that the mana is a sort of a sarthi or a charioteer, is the one who is holding the reins, the one who is holding all the horses in reins. So the horses are our five or 10 sense organs, and the Jnanendriya, Karmendriya. The Jnanendriya are the ones that gain the knowledge from the external, perceive the knowledge, that are sense organs, the skin, the eyes, the nose, the tongue, and the ears. And the Karmendriya are the five organs to which we do the external work. Our hands, our feet, our reproductive organs are a part of it. So in that sense, when the Jnanendriya and the Karmendriya are like horses, they have to be kept in control. If they're not in control, what happens is if the chariot is not in control, it can go wherever it wants. It can go climb up a hill, it can go down into a valley, it can crash, it can get stuck in a puddle. So the mind and the intelligence, the buddhi is something is what the manas or the charioteer is holding. The wheel, the contraption of the ratha or the chariot is the sharir. The body is carried by the sense organs. The mind controls carried by the sense organs. Mind controls the body and the sense organs. And then there's the soul or the chitta who is looking in a direction which is not always in the direction where the body is going. So trying to bring the chitta, the mana, the sense organs, the sharir all into one, unison in a balance is why we try to bring yoga into our lives. Now, there are certain myths about yoga, that yoga is exercise or stretching. Very important, because yoga is not just stretching, it is not just exercise. Most of most of us just tend to go towards it to get some, improve our metabolic rate, which is very important, improve our digestion, which are the good benefits of regularly practicing yoga. But it is not just stretching or exercising, it is stretching the mind and the body. It's an exercise for your mind to get it into a steady position, to get your faculties, to get your intelligence, to get your focus, to get it all aligned. Yoga is only for the young. Yes, if it is much beneficial if it is started at a very young age. After 6 years of age is what is advised for pranayam and basic yoga asanas. Till around 70, 75 years of age, if you have been doing this, it is you can do it till the last breath of your life. But if you're starting it, if you're beyond 75, I would suggest do it very slowly. But after 50, also there are many yoga practitioners or yoga enthusiasts who started late in their life after 50 or 60. Once they start facing problems and once they started, there is no end to stopping them. Yoga is only body based, which is a very narrow view of yoga. Many people think, Sharir, this is just asana, this is some body exercise. But that is so wrong. That's why I have put an image where it says the Ashtanga of yoga, the 8 parts of yoga. So if you can see clearly, the first one is yama. It is all about controlling your mind, focusing on the surroundings. It is about doing your cleanliness, your hygiene, your routines, your disciplines. The first two anga or the parts of yoga are yama and yama. They form the foundation. So if your hygiene is not clear, if your routine is not clear, if you do not have faith, I'm not speaking about a particular god or religion. It is just about faith in oneself, in goodness, in charity, in doing good for the society. Because yoga is going from out to coming in. So once you're trying to go out, you have to clear all the outside problems. You have to clear your interpersonal relationships. You have to clear your ethics. You have to clear your intelligence. What are your goals in life? So yama and niyama somewhere work with that. And then you come to asana, where you're trying to regulate your body. Asana is the fundamental part of yoga where you're trying to get your body into a disciplined nature. You're getting up at a specific time, you're following a certain routine, you're eating a specific diet, a particular diet, and then you're controlling the urges in your body, you're controlling your different organs, you're trying to, guide them into a certain way through asanas and pranayam, which is breath. Then you go on to your breathing. See how beautifully yoga goes from outside to inside. So from the external environment, you come to our body, then you go to the pranayam. Pranayam is all about the prana vayu. You try to control it. You do your breath work. It's about the vagus nerve, about the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system, the flight and the fight, and the stress and the anti-stress and the cortisol, and all of that is balanced with the asana and the pranayama. Once that is done, it goes to pratyahar. Pratyahar is controlling your organs and trying to go inward. Even while you're holding the asanas, Thiram Sukham Asana. Asanas is something that you hold for a long duration, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 90 minutes. That is the time of the siddha, for getting the final accomplishment and the final benefits of the asanas. So asana is meant to be held for a long duration in a very comfortable position. Initially, it is not comfortable, but once you get practice of it, that is what is asanas. And with the asanas, then you put the pranayam, then you come pratyahara. This is for the advanced level. But on a regular basis, also when we are doing our yoga practice, if we control and try to do the asanas and hold the asana for as long as possible, then do the breath work with it, and then control our senses, the mind goes inside. The mind goes inside into pratyahara. Our sense organs start withdrawing themselves, and then comes dharana. Dharana is focusing either on your breath, on your body, or trying to just keep the mind for how much ever little possible in a certain space or a phase of non-movement. The mind is always in a movement, so trying to keep it in a phase of non-movement, dharana, and then comes dhyana. So many people say that we do dhyana is meditation. Dhyana is not meditation. Dharana can be said as meditation. Dhyana is the loss of meditation, where the mind is completely focused. It is an advanced stage, which I would frankly say I have not yet been able to reach. Yes, dharana is a stage that I have experienced, and it is very pure bliss for those few moments. I aspire to get into dhyana someday. And then maybe the last stage is samadhi, which is for the much, much advanced state. That is where the body loses its form. The mind loses its form. It becomes one with the super consciousness. Now, the yama. So I have elaborated here what is yama. It is ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. So what we do out into the environment. So non-violence, non-harming, truthfulness, non-stealing, the correct use of our reproductive energies, and non-attachment. So this is the first anga of yoga. The 5 niyamas. The first anga is yama. The second is the panchavidha niyamas, which is santosha, our our ability to be content, our ability to swadhyaya, to do our own work, to do our own abhyasa, to do our own adhyayan, to do our own studies on ourselves, by our own selves, with our own faculties. Shaucha is cleanliness, not just external, but internal cleanliness, cleanliness of thoughts. Tapasa is austerities or practices that discipline our body. And Ishwar Pranidhan is trying to hold on to your faith. The faith of your work, faith of your religion, faith of your soul, whichever is your faith. Now we go on to asanas, because asanas is the most, the most attractive part of the entire yoga science, yogic sciences. So Sarvangasana, Halasana, these are asanas. One, you would see that all of them are about focusing on how you bend your belly, how you bend your abdomen. Why? Because the navel, the source of the umbilical cord, when we are attached to our mother, so that is the navel, from where it starts all the 1,000, 10,000 nadis, that Sahasra with nadis, 1,000 nadis, or channels which circulate or nourish our body. The navel area is highly valued in yoga. So Sarvangasana, Halasana, these are asanas that help to move the vertebral column in a certain way. It is flexing, it is extending the vertebral column, holding the vertebral column in the certain way. Why? Because the vertebral column is the place for the Sushumna Nadi. There are three nadis, the Ida, Pingla, the Sushumna. It is a aspect of yoga which deals with the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. And the balanced nadi is the Sushumna Nadi, which is the energy source. So the energy source is the Kundalini Shakti lying at the base of the spinal cord. Once you start moving your spinal cord in a very flexible way, you become youthful. You become energetic. Old age cannot capture you. So that is why focusing on the flexibility of your vertebral column is utmost importance in yoga. So Sarvangasana and Halasana are not the initial beginners yoga. They are a little advanced form, but they are the forms that you should be doing if you have been starting with yoga for the past couple of months or so, and then you advance yourself into Sarvangasana, Halasana, and ensure that you make it a daily part of your yoga asana routine. Ardha Matsyendrasana, wonderful for sciatic pain, wonderful for uncontrolled diabetes or imbalance in your blood sugar levels, or aggravated HbA1c, or even for lower hip, stretching for the muscles that are inside the inner area, the piriformis and the hamstring. So muscles like that, which cause strain and stretch of the lower hip area, the buttock area, and then the pressure on the sciatic nerve. So Ardha Matsyendrasana is another asana which is extremely beneficial. Vrikshasana. Now, why do I suggest always standing and balancing asanas? Even in my yoga classes for the women that I take early morning, I always ensure that this is a part of the daily exercises, because Vrikshasana, the Natarajasana or the Garudasana or Tadasana, all of these or one-leg asanas, they ensure that your cartilages, the ligaments, the tendons that are holding your knee, the ankle, they are supple. They are well exercised, because that is where the problems start from once you cross 40. There's creaking, there is aching, there is swelling, there is stiffness. So when you're doing yoga, ensure that you do not miss out on the warming up part. The warming up part always starts with something which is more balancing, focusing on your single one leg balancing. So Vrikshasana is one of the asanas that help to stretch the spinal cord, help to process your thighs, your foot pressing along the inner side of the thigh, the contraction of your thigh, the holding of the asanas, and the final most difficult. It is a very difficult asana if you try to close your eyes and focus in it. So when you're doing Vrikshasana, if you can close your eyes and hold the position, that is when the asana is complete, or it is optimized, and you're getting the final benefits, because your mind is in attune with the body. It's very difficult to do so in single leg balancing asanas. So try that out the next time you do Vrikshasana. Of course, the favorite of all, Surya Namaskar, high calorie burning, high energy requirement asana. So all these 12 or 10, whichever way you're doing. So all of this brings the Surya Namaskar to be the most easiest form of physical exercise that you can do, along with breath work. Ensure you do it with when to breathe, when to hold your breath, when to release, and you do it in a certain way that your body exercises in its completeness. So every asana in this is done in a unique way. It is not just jumping from one asana to another. It is a dynamic form, but even in this, the body movement has a certain has a certain layer to it. There's a certain wave. There is a certain melody or a rhythm to it. So in that sense, when you're doing Surya Namaskara face ease, ensure you're doing your breathing work. Ensure you're doing at least 3 rounds to 4 rounds to get the body out of the rigidity. The first 2 rounds are difficult, the right and the left. The first 2 rounds are a little rigid because your body is removing the stiffness. Once you get into the 3rd round, you lose the rigidity. You start to understand. And by the 6th round, your body is really doing it in a very smooth manner. So ensure that you have adequate amount of energy to this, because this is a high energy demanding asanas. Very good for losing weight, very good for kids, especially for children to do Surya Namaskar, improves their metabolism, improves their focus, and they get control their breathing. Making a child sit and do breath work is very difficult. So if you want your child or some child to do a little of breathing control and mind control, start them with Surya Namaskar. That is the easiest way. Dhanurasana, one of my favorite asanas. Yes, it increases your chest and your shoulders, maybe not very feminine, but for children, an ultimate way to ensure that for the boys to have a better chest development, because for many children, asthma is a big problem, especially with the current situation of pollution and the multiple reasons and the food that is causing so many asthmatic and breathing problems. Also, a lot of gastritis associated with asthma or coughing. We always think that asthma is related to the respiratory tract. It's not just the respiratory tract, it's also associated with the stomach. So ensure that gastritis is not a problem with your asthma, or your child is, or the child that you're treating or you're thinking about is not facing any sort of wheat allergy, gluten allergy. That causes a lot of coughing and asthmatic tendencies too. So Dhanurasana focuses on the Nabi, again on the digestive system. So once you're doing Dhanurasana, your body is stretching in a certain way, it is balanced on your Nabi. The spinal cord is, curved in a certain way. The shoulders are expanded. There's a lot of blood flowing into your lungs, into your heart. Your heart is pumping. High energy asana. Wonderful for women too, because it, presses against the Nabi. So whenever the women are, doing asanas pressed on the Nabi, it ensures that a good massage, a good blood circulation, a good balance is achieved between the gut and the brain, the gut-brain axis. So not just women, for everybody, but especially in women, because the gut is extremely closely related to your uterus. So for the women to do the asanas where the gut-brain axis is, sort of balanced. So all the asanas that I have shown, Ardha Matsendrasana, Halasana, Sarvangasana, Surya Namaskar, all of these focus on the Nabi. That's why yoga is so beautiful, because it is directly going to your deeper nervous system, which is balancing your hormones. What is the gut-brain axis? It is how your digestive system, how your gut is working, and that is affecting your brain, which is basically the pituitary, the hypothalamus, from where the mother, the initial hormonal growth, the processing and the production is done. So the trigger hormones all come from there. So when the gut axis is balanced, when the breathing is great, when the pran vayu is optimized with so much of good amount of breathing, then you get the final benefit of the asanas. If you're doing this in the terrace sometime in the evening in a polluted area, please do not do this. Ensure that you get into a place where, even if you do have to use the air condition, ensure you're breathing good, clean air. It is necessary that you're breathing good, clean air. If you're doing it out in a lawn where there's a small park, but there's a lot of congestion, a lot of traffic around, please do not do deep asanas, because you're breathing in a lot of dushita pranavayu, or the vayu coming from outside is toxifying your pranavayu. So in that sense, you have to be careful about where you're doing your asanas. Respiratory wellness. Now we come to the pranayama aspect, which is Bhastrika, Kapalbhati, Bandhas. So what are these? These are asanas, these are pranayama, where the pranavayu in our body, the breathing in our body is, modulated in a certain way. So for Bhastrika, it is a kind of a cleansing, it inhaling and exhaling in a forceful way. So the breathing, why is it necessary? Because the breath work, directly relates to our vagus nerve, to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where the body goes into a healing mechanism. So once the breathing mechanism, the parasympathetic nervous system gets activated by this sort of breathing mechanism, or it's getting cleansed, that is the sort of cleansing or balancing your body is achieving, your stomach is achieving, your heart is achieving, your kidneys are achieving, because those are the organs that are first affected by stress or multiple stresses that are affecting us. Kapalbhati, the belly, the bellow sort of thing that we do with our abdomen, very good, but be very careful if you have hypertension, if you have acidity, if you have gastritis, if you are of a pitta prakriti. You can contact me to know more about this. So if Kapalbhati is what is you want to do to lose fat, it is good for those who have a very heavy sort of a constitution, but not for those who are already very thin and they have lost weight and they just continue doing Kapalbhati, because it causes sort of a rebound effect of not a very good effect on your heart. Bandha. So bandha are locks that are very good for improving that energy flow from your spinal cord, starting from the Mooladhara chakra, the Sahasrara. It goes through your vertebral column, and the best thing that it does, it gives you with a beautiful amount of energy. So Mahabandha, wherein all the Jalandhar, Udyan, and the Mool Bandha are done. So it focuses on the thyroid. It is focusing on your Nabhi plexus. It is focusing on the base of your anus. So these are all done together with the respiratory wellness through pranayam. This can be incorporated in your daily yogasanas and the chanting of Om. So Om is not a religious symbol. It is a The symbol has become this, but when the pronunciation of Om is divided into which is the basic sound that comes from the Navi. Who is the sound that comes from the chest. Is the sound that you can feel the vibration in your the Agnya chakra, or the chakra that corresponds, this area that corresponds to your pituitary gland, the pineal gland. So the vibration which we get in Bhamari Pranayam also is what stimulates this area. So in a certain way, in a increasing span of breathing out is what gives the final culmination of all the asanas and pranayam when you're doing your meditation. Doing a Om chanting for around 3 or 11 counts establishes the body balance. The final step that leads us towards the culmination of the man, chitta, and the sharira. So Om chanting should be an integral part of your daily yoga practice. Now, how to develop a yogic body? First is diet consciousness. What do you eat? When do you eat? And not getting stressed about it too much. Just be sure that you have good hunger. Try to feel that you are hungry. If you're constantly hungry always, that is also a problem. And if you're not hungry, that is also a problem. So try to balance your hunger. Talk to your Ayurvedic practitioner. Contact me through my numbers, which is available in the YouTube text box. Also, focus on your bowel consciousness. So why the bowel is very important? Because for all the yogasanas, if there is toxin, if there is waste matter in your bowel, and you're doing the yogasanas, it is not causing the flow of energy to go, because the mala is constricted. Your bowels have to be clear before you do your yoga. Take triphala at night. Take black soaked raisins. Take boiled papita. Take rice and dal khichdi at night rather than roti. So try to ensure that you have soft bowels, hot consciousness. So even while doing yoga, if you're thinking about what is happening in the next Netflix series or what presentation you have to give, even if you're thinking that, try to bring back to your body. The mind is always moving. So the idea about yoga is always trying to bring the mind back to its awareness form, being aware of the immediate surroundings of your body, the sensation on your skin, the sensation on your eyes, how you're feeling, how your breathing is working. Even when you're relaxing in Shavasana, try not to sleep. Think about Yoga Nidra. So Yoga Nidra is a part that I regularly do. I always do in my Shavasana practices with my ladies in my morning. So that is when the mind, you start focusing, controlling on your mind and energy consciousness. Feel about your energy, how you feel after the yogasanas. Many a days, mummies, it is very difficult because we have to conclude the class and getting into the kitchen and getting everybody ready to start the day. But after the yogasanas, if you have a 10 duration in your hand, 5-minute duration, just sit and feel the body, the energy in your body, how it is passing, how you're feeling is very important after doing your yoga. Now there are certain herbs that are wonderful, Brahmi, Ashwagandha, good march. So why are these necessary along with yoga? Because for the pranic wellness, for your chest, for your heart, Tulsi is optimum. It is very good to work on your breathing, on your heart health, on your breathing health, on your respiratory wellness. Brahmi is essential for your brain development, essential for your nervous health, for your nerve complex, and Ashwagandha for your energy. So for those with low energy, they can start thinking of taking ashwagandha in a minimal way. For those women for women, I always recommend shatavari. But do this with the guidance of your Ayurvedic practitioner. Gudmar is for those who are suffering from, a little uncontrolled level of your blood sugar. Lasun is for those who are having some cholesterol problems. Amlaki is my always favorite herb to go for women is amlaki. I recommend it to everybody. This is something everybody should have and not think about why and when and how. Have amlaki. And that is all for today. I hope I could add something new and something valuable to your knowledge of yoga. Let me know how you think about this video, and if you want to know more, do share in the comments. Thank you so very much and have a good day.